We spent a lot of time the night before up till late, making sure everything was planned out appropriately. We wanted to make sure that the guests that we had, Bahrain and Israel and the United Arab Emirates were all treated with respect, and that they felt like the day was going to accomplish the messaging that they wanted to accomplish, because they had a lot of risks that they were taking in the region.
It's been 26 years since the last peace agreement between Israel and an Arab state, that being Israel and Jordan, and now 2 within a month.
I don't know that I was ever more inspired than to be on the South Lawn on a sunny day, to see the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Israel, sit down with leaders of Arab nations inside the Abraham Accords. History-making progress.
That was an experience that I lived during that sunny day. It was a bright day, and to be frank, I believe it's a message that this bright day is for a bright future.
We're here this afternoon to change the course of history. After decades of division and conflict, we mark the dawn of a new Middle East.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, goedemorgen, bonjour, guten tag, good morning, and jó reggelt. And that's an easy Hungarian, so you can memorize it probably by the end. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you all at the Embassy of Hungary to Belgium and Luxembourg on this beautiful sunny day. It seems that Providence and the Almighty graces us on this very special day, remembering a very special event. And thank you to His Excellency, Member of the Federal Parliament, the Chamber of Deputies of the Kingdom of Belgium, Michael Freilich, and congratulations to the initiative. And it's beautiful that you're organizing this with us this time for the 3rd time here in Brussels, in the capital of Europe. Before starting our discussion, I would like to express my heartfelt condolences to the royal family and to the people of Morocco, affected by a horrible, horrible earthquake that hit the country less than a week ago last Friday. Let me reiterate the message put forward by the President of Hungary. We, Hungarians, lend a helping hand if needed and whenever needed. I now invite you to stand and observe a minute of silence in tribute to those who lost their lives. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, dear friends, today we all gathered here to celebrate together the 3rd anniversary of an exceptional event, the signing of the Abraham Accords. The Accords, which started as a brave initiative and turned out to be instrumental in the process of bringing peace in the Middle East. I'm truly honored to have been given the opportunity to host this very special event, especially in times of when there is a dire need for peace. I proudly remember that 3 years ago, on the 15th of September 2020, almost to the day, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary, Péter Szijjártó, as the sole foreign minister of an EU country, was present in the White House garden in Washington, where the Abraham Accords were signed by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Foreign Minister of the United Arab Emirates Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Bahraini Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani. It was undoubtedly a milestone historic event which created a new reality, both in the region but also beyond. When I look back on the 3 years timeline of the Accords, I remember that most of the world, and especially many in this city, voiced doubts and reservations. But they proved to be all wrong. The Accords have not only resurrected the hope that things could go in the right direction, in the direction of peace and peaceful coexistence, but the Accords have yielded since then respectful dialogue and meaningful cooperation in many areas of life. These achievements prove to me and to us Hungarians that there is no alternative to talk, no alternative to the rhetoric of peace, and no alternative to peace. Hungary is adamant in maintaining her stance that the security and stability of the Middle East and Europe are interlinked. So it is not surprising to say that my country does not only support, but encourages the extension of the Abraham Accords. Both Belgium and Hungary, our receiving state, are looking ahead to the presidency of the Council of the European Union next year in 2024. These are special times for mid-sized countries like us being involved at the highest level of world politics. Undoubtedly, this year, 2024, is going to be a crucial year, not only for us, Hungarians and Belgians, but also for all Europeans. At the end of the Belgian presidency term, European parliamentary elections will be held, along, as I'm informed, with a few elections in our esteemed receiving state as well. During the second half of next year, to the concern of some, but they are mostly from this city and part of the establishment, a new European Parliament legislation cycle will begin, and the new EU administration will take office under the Hungarian EU presidency. A special honor for us. Our embassy itself will offer a very rich professional and cultural program to the Brussels community, in addition to the official diplomatic events, which consist of many heads of mission events of the EU27 here in this building, and also, after the opening, the beautiful building that we have at Loa 9, Loa 9, Loa 9, just facing the Prime Minister's office of this country. And tonight, in fact, we also offer in our Cultural Institute a beautiful Spanish-Belgian-Hungarian jazz show already commemorating the trio presidency. But going back to the discussion today, it is not yet known how the future equilibria will develop in Europe, but it is more important than ever to continue embracing the spirit of the Abraham Accords, the spirit of vision of peace, security, and prosperity for all. Please allow me to close my welcome speech with the praise of the prominent role of each country around the table and here with us today, and represented by your excellencies around the table as well later, supporting peace, stability in the region and beyond. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies, dear friends, I'm happy to see you all today. I think it's indeed, like you said, beautiful weather is shining down upon us because this is a magnificent day. In Jewish tradition, the first 3 years of a new project are always holy. For those of you who might have seen little Jewish boys walking around, often people ask, are these girls? Is this a girl? Why? Because religious Jewish boys, we don't cut the hair until they reach the age of 3 years old. The idea from this comes from the Bible, where it says that when you have a new field that is planted, you shouldn't start pruning the new trees. Let it grow. Make sure that its roots can take hold. Because the first 3 years are very fragile. And we learn from that the same thing is with a child. The first 3 years, don't cut his hair, just like you don't cut or prune a tree in a field. He's 3 years old. The first important stage is passed, and the roots are secure. Today marks the 3rd anniversary, tomorrow actually, of the signing of the Abraham Accords. 3 years is an important symbolic milestone. Just as we say, the first 3 years, it's shaky, it's not sure whether the tree will actually start growing, will start giving out fruits. We must be very cautious. But once we reach the 3 years, it's a cause for celebration. Of course, every year and every birthday is a celebration. But this is also the reason why, for me, this 3rd anniversary is so important. The countries that decided to sit together around the table, initially United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, added by Morocco, Sudan, they all took an important risk, and we must acknowledge that, Israel as well. Sitting down with a country which you did not have diplomatic relations with for so many years, it's not an evident thing. It's not a simple thing to do. It takes political courage, it takes political will, and it takes leadership. And these countries here, under, of course, the guise and the help and the assistance of the United States, came together and proved that they are worthy of that leadership. That they said, we are going to write a new chapter in our history, and a new chapter that will mean peace for so many years and generations to come. Shimon Peres, an important Israeli statesman, always said, when we start having economic relations with our neighbors, peace will grow. And indeed, we see that the economic activities between the countries who are invited here today has really taken off. Incredible. Even last year we discussed it. Hundreds of millions of dollars of trade, where previously it was zero. And the reason I'm mentioning Shimon Peres is because I was in Porto at the beginning of the week. I was invited by the International Observatory of Human Rights, who were celebrating the 100th birthday since the birth of Shimon Peres. His daughter was there, his daughter was present, she told us the anecdotes, and how her father worked his entire life tirelessly for peace. And Shimon Peres managed something that I think this generation has taken over, and that is bringing water and fire, two elements that don't always match, sometimes explode when you bring them together. He managed to initiate the Oslo Accords, to at least start a shift in the minds of people, both Israelis and Palestinians and of the Arab world, that war and fighting each other does not have to be the future, that a positive future of peace is possible. And I think that were he alive today at 100 years, or if he's watching down on us today, he would be smiling and seeing the state of Israel surrounded by so many friends from the Arab world. So let these be my opening remarks. Let me thank you once again for taking the time to be here today. A special thanks to my great friend, the ambassador of Hungary, the honorary consul, Ari Epstein, Tamash, for opening your beautiful embassy for us. I really appreciate it deeply, the commitment that you have shown personally and that your country has shown throughout the years for supporting, like you said, the Abraham Accords, for your warmth and friendship to me, to my country, to Flanders, and I hope that we'll have a very fruitful dialogue today, because we must keep that dialogue going. We must keep talking to each other. And next year we will celebrate again. And every year to come, I am convinced that while this is a third birthday, this is just the beginning. There's much more to come. There's very positive signals from other countries. Saudi Arabia is signaling things that we have never seen before. And I hope, and I know the Americans are working hard at that the day will come. We shouldn't rush, give countries the time to process the change and the positive change that is possible if we think about it. Let me also stand still at the tragedy that happened in your country, Mr. Ambassador, the country of Morocco. I will quote from a letter, and I will speak in French because I know that that is the language in which we communicate. I will quote from the letter that I sent you this week and that I hope will reach a wider audience through the various people from the press here today. Votre Excellence, c'est avec une profonde tristesse que j'ai appris le tremblement de terre dévastateur qui a frappé le Maroc vendredi dernier. En mon nom personnel et au nom de mes collègues et au nom du peuple que je représente, je vous présente ainsi qu'à votre famille et au peuple marocain nos condoléances les plus sincères en cette période difficile. La perte de vie humaine et la destruction de maisons et d'infrastructures sont des tragédies que les mots peuvent difficilement décrire. Je ne peux qu'imaginer la douleur et la souffrance que le peuple marocain endure. Et mes pensées vous accompagnent tous. J'ai toujours admiré la résilience et l'unité du Maroc, et je suis convaincu que la nation s'unira pour reconstruire et se relever. Sachez que vous avez des amis et des alliés qui sont prêts à vous aider de toutes les manières possibles. Votre Excellence, en tant qu'ami, je tiens à vous offrir mon soutien personnel durant cette période difficile. Si vous ou votre pays avez besoin de quelque chose de spécifique, n'hésitez pas à nous contacter. Nous sommes là pour vous aider de toutes les manières possibles. Une fois encore, je vous adresse ainsi qu'au peuple marocain mes plus sincères condoléances. Puissiez-vous trouver la force et le courage de traverser cette période difficile, et ceux qui ont perdu la vie reposent en paix. And I would like to invite now Guido Joris to the piano. We will listen to an improvisation on motifs derived from the national hymns of the countries that signed the Abraham Accords. Pianist Guido Joris, close friend of mine for many years, thus steps into the shadow of two Hungarian great artists, Zoltán Kodály and Béla Bartók, composers and ethnomusicologists who left the beaten classical paths and introduced folk music into their compositions. Their adagio, music is for everyone. This principle is also honored in the improvisation that you will soon hear. The style is eclectic, meaning that this improvisation is suited to a wide audience. With some recurring, particularly dissonant passages, he outlines his personal disappointment for Belgium's attitudes towards the Abrahamic Accords in general and Israel in particular. An undiplomatic but purely personal choice, I must add, that he counts as part of his artistic freedom. National anthems have a special power. This is certainly the case with Morocco's national anthem. Guido Joris feels a certain trepidation in dealing with this anthem at a time when so many families are affected by so much suffering. He therefore builds into his improvisation an organ point on a long-sounding bass note, in which he gives himself and you, the audience, time to think about the victims and their loved ones. Thank you. I would like to extend the invitation to the esteemed excellencies, the ambassadors of the various countries from the Abraham Accords to have a seat so we can start with our dialogue, please. The first speaker today will be Deputy Ambassador Mrs. Sandra Oweda from the United Arab Emirates. Please.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, I would like to start with offering our sincere condolences and sympathy to the government and people of Morocco for the lives lost in the tragic events of the earthquake. We'd also like to offer the same condolences to the people of Libya. On behalf of Ambassador Mohammed Al-Sahlawi, it is an honor and a privilege to be here today on this momentous occasion, the 3rd anniversary of the Abraham Accords, a historic event which marks the enduring spirit of peace and cooperation in the Middle East. 3 years ago, this historic event marked the trajectory of the Middle East, and in particular, of our beloved nation, the United Arab Emirates. The Abraham Peace Accord, signed with great hope and vision, has come to symbolize not just a shift in diplomacy, but a renewed commitment to peace, prosperity, and mutual understanding. Today, we gather here to celebrate the progress we have made and to reaffirm our collective dedication to a brighter, more peaceful future for the entire region. Our nation has seen a surge in bilateral trade and investments with Israel, spurring growth in sectors such as technology, tourism, and healthcare. The mutual benefits are clear and continue to expand. In closing, I would like to express my gratitude to Ambassador of Hungary, His Excellency Dr. Tomasz Ivan Kovacs, for generously hosting us today, and to Belgium and MP Michael Freilich for organizing this event, as well as to our partners in the European Union who played a pivotal role in spreading the importance of the Abraham Accords and advancing the cause of peace in the Middle East, a true testament to the power of diplomacy and cooperation. Together we can build a brighter future for our region and the world. Thank you.
And now I would like to extend the honor to Ambassador Abdullah bin Faisal Al Doseri from the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador of the Hungarian. Mr. Thomas, thank you very much for hosting this important event in your embassy. Dear ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and I'm very proud and pleased to be here today to share the very important milestone we have achieved in the history of Bahrain with our friends and countries. We have like-minded interests in peace and stability. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the Kingdom of Bahrain's signature on the Abraham Accord Declaration is an embodied vision of His Majesty the King of Bahrain to promote the values of tolerance, peaceful coexisting and cooperation, which will lead towards a further prosperity in the Middle East and the globe as a whole. The vision reflects the Bahraini society's long-standing culture of openness, tolerance and coexisting, stemming from its value and belief in peace and brotherhood among the people of the world, and resolving differences through dialogue and building mutual respect. The peace which the signatories of the Abraham Accord strive to achieve is a strategic choice for the Kingdom of Bahrain and is an approach which reflects the values of understanding, dialogue, cooperation, peaceful coexisting, tolerance, and building bridges and enhancing people-to-people communication. I would thus like to take this opportunity to highlight a key elements of the Accord, the crucial role that interfaith relations play in the success of the Abraham Accord. Already, our dialogue has played a significant role in building these accords, and so must ask ourselves, what more can be done to make this dialogue even more effective in fostering understanding and cooperation between the various parties involved? The signing of the Abraham Accord in 2020 is definitely a turning point in the Arab-Israeli relations. By widening the circle of peace, we are able to create a just, comprehensive, Middle East for all people everywhere. Having said that, I would also like to highlight the role played by a narrative-shifting document that has informed my country's decision to sign into Abraham Accord. It is the Kingdom of Bahrain Declaration. This document, which emphasizes on learning, sharing, and living together by the tent of faith and the spirit of mutual respect and love, aligned with the principles underlying the Abraham Accords. This is part of the reason why it is in fact called the spirit of peace and commitment to prosperity over conflict. Therefore, the declaration's call for interfaith dialogue should be heeded because it has the ability to promote enlightenment and understanding, both of which resonate with the ultimate goals of Abraham Accord. These agreements seek to bridge divides and foster cooperation between different religious communities, promoting shared visions of peaceful coexisting. Furthermore, the declaration emphasizes on the freedom of choice in matters of faith, aligning with the spirit of Abraham Accord. This principle of religious freedom is a fundamental aspect of the Accord, which aim to build inclusive societies where religious diversity is celebrated and protected. By denouncing such practices and focusing on the common values that united us, the Accords seek to build a foundation for peace and stability in the region. In reflection, the interfaith pillars which underpin the Abraham Accord will ferry the signatory to further prosperity as to seek a deepening their cooperation on their mutual vision of peace, security, and prosperity in the Middle East, delivering a promising future for all people on the region. By following the principles outlined in the Kingdom of Bahrain Declaration and continuing to strengthen interfaith connections, we can promote a lasting peace in the region. Let us never forget that, and I quote, "Faith eliminates our path to peace," end of quote. And our faith is in a common God, and an identical principle should be forever become a strength and compatibility. Thank you very much, and I'm very glad that this is the second year for my tenant service in this country to celebrate this Abraham Accord, which we are witnessing a truly important milestone in the Middle East that is widening now the tent, what we call it in Bahrain. We started with 2 to 3 countries, now more to come to join Abraham Accord for the same aim and principles, is sharing and respecting each other and living shoulder to shoulder and building our societies in a matter that is a win-win situation for all of us. So now we are having the hope and the principle that this peace is happening in the Middle East, and it's also growing bigger and bigger, and we must not forget the important role of the United States of America for their integral part of promoting the peace and stability in the region for a long time. And we thank them very much for being always with us during all our history, that is witnessing, that is things during even the difficult and impossible times, we could improve and we could achieve a progressing to success of the peace despite the differences and also the difficult times. And I don't want to forget to share my sympathies and also the griefs to our colleagues in Morocco and in Libya for what's happening of the earthquake, and I think the political statement of Bahrain was clear that we stand with the Moroccan at all times during that difficult time. I thank you very much, Mr. Michael, for holding this important event celebrating, and this is, we are celebrating not only in Brussels here as a Bahrain, our embassy is celebrating this worldwide, from London, from USA, from all different cities, as well as we celebrate from the capital, Manama in Bahrain here. We hope to see you all together here. We see you, all of you in Bahrain visiting us, and because Bahrain is a very open country, welcoming all different faith, and the Jewish is the integral part of our societies. They are there in the countries for more than 200 years. They are part of our social fabric in Bahrain for a long time. So it's nothing new we have signed with the Israelis. It's not. This is what we have relationship for hundreds of years. And I think one of the oldest and historical synagogue in the Gulf is in Bahrain. And I think, Mr. Michael, you visited in your last visit to Bahrain. So we hope to see you all together. We thank you very much for coming today to share with us this important happiness and celebrating. And we wish all of you all the best on the coming days and year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. This brings me to the next speaker, Her Excellency Ambassador Edith Rosenzweig Abreu from the State of Israel.
Our dear host, Ambassador Kovac, my good friends and colleagues around the table, the American Ambassador Michael Adler, Moroccan Ambassador, Ambassador Amour, Ambassador of Bahrain, Ambassador El Duseri, and Deputy Ambassador of the UAE. It's good to be among friends, distinguished guests. Like all of my colleagues before me, I would like first to share and my condolences to the Moroccan people as everyone around the world, we are all heartbroken by the tragic results of the earthquake in Morocco, and we follow the heroic search and rescue efforts. There are more than 1 million Moroccans in Israel, Moroccan Jews, and I think Moroccan or non-Moroccan, we are all looking and hoping that the country will recover soon. Our hearts are with the Moroccan people. Dear friends, tomorrow we mark 3 years to a milestone for the Middle East and North Africa. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this is the 4th time in 4 speeches already that people said milestones, because we all agree. First, in September, that we signed the agreements with the UAE and Bahrain, and then 3 months later with Morocco. These agreements have ushered a new era of normalization and peace that not only connected governments, but also brought people together, despite differences of languages and religions and beliefs and cultures. So far, the Abraham Accords had offered a mere glimpse into the full potential of regional cooperation. And I'm not just talking about the economic cooperation that has been talked about and written about, but also people-to-people, tourism. It was not existent before, and now it has skyrocketed. In 2021, visits from Israel to the UAE increased 172%. Meanwhile, the number of Israelis flying to Bahrain since the establishment of direct flights has increased exponentially. The Accords did not only have an effect on the signed countries, it also had a ripple effect, a significant influence on reinforcing Israel's relations with its neighboring countries, and therefore enhancing regional stability. For example, the Prosperity Green and Blue Agreement between Israel, the UAE, and Jordan determined that a solar field to supply 600 megawatts of green electricity to Israel will be established in Jordan, while in return a desalination plant in Israel will deliver 200 million cubic meters of water to Jordan. These interconnections create stability. The Abraham Accords encourage collaboration in education. In the summer of 2022, the Ben Gurion University welcomed students from Morocco. Additionally, a number of Emirati students have enrolled in Israeli universities. Bahrain also embraced the prospects of shared educational activities and signed an agreement with Israel to advance student and professor exchange. The agreements do not cease to yield fruits of mutual understanding and respect. After Emirati Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan visited the Yad Vashem Holocaust Remembrance Museum in Jerusalem, the UAE incorporated Holocaust education into its school curriculum as a mandatory subject, an attestation to the ability of the Abraham Accords to foster coexistence and religious tolerance. The Abraham Accords have shown unity's power to inspire and provide opportunities. They offer a window into the potential future of the region, and demonstrate that when both leaders and ordinary citizens prioritize peace and cooperation, a better future for the Middle East is possible. My dear friends, tomorrow is not only the day when we celebrate 3 years to the Abraham Accords, we are also celebrating tomorrow one of the most important holidays in Judaism, the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. I wish us all that the year starting tomorrow would bring more countries into the circle of peace, creating a brighter future for our children. I wish to thank Ambassador Kovac and Member of Federal Parliament Michael Freilich for organizing this event. And I wish you all a happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now call on His Excellency Ambassador Mohamed Amr from the Kingdom of Morocco to say a few words in French. I will take some notes and I will try to translate as best as I can at the end of the speech for the people here who don't understand French.
Merci beaucoup, cher Michael, je voudrais au début remercier Son Excellence l'ambassadeur de Hongrie, cher ami, et d'avoir organisé avec vous cette cérémonie. Et je voudrais exprimer au nom du Royaume du Maroc nos remerciements à toutes les personnes qui nous ont soutenus, qui ont présenté leurs condoléances, mais aussi qui ont exprimé leur compassion et leur solidarité avec le Maroc et le peuple marocain dans ce moment difficile que nous traversons. Les dégâts sont immenses, les chantiers de restructuration s'annoncent gigantesques, mais je suis convaincu que la mobilisation des Marocains, sous la conduite de Sa Majesté Mohamed VI, va nous permettre de relever, et là, bien sûr, et l'appui de la communauté internationale, la solidarité de nos amis, va nous permettre de relever les défis. Pour revenir à notre activité, je voudrais remercier Michael pour tous les efforts qu'il fait pour faire de cette cérémonie un rendez-vous annuel pour nous revoir et surtout pour faire le point de l'état d'avancement des engagements des uns et des autres. Et je suis tout à fait d'accord avec toi que les premières années, que les 3 années, aussi bien pour l'être humain, pour les arts, que pour les accords politiques, sont déterminants. C'est pourquoi moi je voudrais mettre l'accent sur le bilan de ces 3 années de partenariat intense avec nos amis israéliens. Mais avant cela, permettez-moi de faire quelques remarques sur la particularité du partenariat Maroc-Israël, parce que c'est un partenariat très particulier. D'abord, il y a l'histoire, il y a le récit d'histoire. L'histoire des musulmans au Maroc et des juifs, c'est une histoire très ancienne. Une histoire marquée par une cohabitation pacifique. Une histoire où les juifs étaient chez eux. Le Maroc n'a jamais considéré les juifs comme une minorité. Les juifs étaient chez eux. Ils étaient des conseillers de Sa Majesté, des commerçants, mais aussi ils faisaient partie du paysage humain et social du Maroc, habitant les villes comme habitant les coins les plus reculés du pays. Donc il y a une histoire. Et cette histoire a fait que les Marocains, toutes confessions confondues, juifs et musulmans, ont vécu ensemble. Il y a un deuxième élément, c'est le culturel et l'humain. L'humain, malgré l'immigration de la grande majorité de la communauté dans les années 60 et 70, les liens sont restés très forts. Et le Maroc est l'un des rares pays musulmans, parce que tous les pays musulmans avaient des communautés juives, mais le Maroc est l'un des rares pays qui a su garder des liens très étroits avec la communauté juive. Des milliers, des centaines de milliers de juifs d'origine du Maroc, mais autres visitaient le Maroc, même au moment où il n'y avait pas de relations diplomatiques, où il y avait presque une rupture diplomatique. Donc, les liens humains sont très importants. Mon ami, l'ambassadeur d'Israël, a parlé plus d'un million de Marocains juifs en Israël. C'est vrai, c'est un patrimoine extraordinaire et c'est une chance pour nous d'aller de l'avant. Et ce qui est extraordinaire, c'est que les juifs d'origine marocaine d'Israël restent très attachés au Maroc. Au point que la culture marocaine est aujourd'hui une composante essentielle de la culture israélienne. L'un des orchestres les plus importants en Israël, c'est l'Israël marocain. Les Israéliens vivent en écoutant, vibre, pardon, en écoutant la musique marocaine. Donc il y a un très fort attachement culturel avec le Maroc. Bien sûr, il y a le politique aussi. Vous savez que le Maroc, même pendant les moments les plus difficiles, les moments où le modèle en vogue à l'époque, c'était la rupture, c'était l'intransigeance, le Maroc a fait toujours preuve à l'égard d'Israël, à l'égard des Juifs, d'ouverture et de modération. Vous vous souvenez que Hassan II était l'un des rares responsables musulmans qui a soutenu la visite de Sadat en Israël, voire même a contribué d'une façon remarquable à l'organisation de cette visite. Et nous avons toujours œuvré pour le rapprochement. Nous avons des liens très forts avec les Palestiniens, mais aussi nous avons toujours des liens avec les Israéliens, mais aussi les Juifs du monde entier. Donc voilà un peu le contexte dans lequel est intervenu ce partenariat, cet accord. Ça veut dire quoi? Ce qui a été fait, cet accord s'inscrit dans une continuité, dans une histoire. Quel bilan faisons-nous de cet accord depuis 3 ans? Le temps est court, mais je vais vous dire quelques mots. Le bilan est impressionnant. En 3 ans, ce qui a été fait entre le Marocain et l'Israélien, c'est simplement impressionnant. Bien sûr, il y a le volet diplomatique, il y a des liens qui sont très forts, il y a même des échanges très intenses. Il y a une invitation au président du gouvernement israélien, Netanyahou, qui va se rendre dans les prochains mois au Maroc. Mais il y a des échanges intenses sous tous les niveaux. J'ai parlé tout à l'heure au niveau humain touristique. Le tourisme a connu une croissance extraordinaire. On est passé de 40 000 touristes en 2019 à 200 000 en 2022. Et nous prévoyons 1 million de touristes dans les prochaines années au Maroc. Sur le plan économique, il y a des choses extraordinaires. Sur le plan de l'agriculture, sur le plan de l'industrie, sur le plan de la défense, sur le plan de la sécurité, et sur le plan universitaire, sur le plan académique, il y a des flux aujourd'hui, un va-et-vient entre le Maroc et Israël que nous n'avons jamais vu. Donc ce partenariat intense entre le Maroc et Israël est porté aussi par des acteurs sociaux et culturels, par la société civile, etc. Pour conclure et dire que l'accord signé entre le Maroc et Israël n'est pas uniquement un accord entre gouvernements. Il est porté par tout un peuple au Maroc et un peuple en Israël. Ce qui donne la force de ce partenariat et ce qui inscrit ce partenariat dans la durée. Je voudrais pour conclure dire que tout cet effort que fait le Maroc aujourd'hui avec Israël, toute l'amitié dont jouit le Maroc en Israël, mais aussi au sein du peuple juif, va être utilisé comme levier pour travailler pour la paix entre Palestiniens et Israéliens. Et il n'y aura pas d'autre alternative que la paix de 2 États, 2 peuples qui vivent côte à côte dans la sérénité et de la sécurité. Donc nous allons continuer à renforcer nos liens avec Israël et à travailler avec Israël et avec les Palestiniens pour apporter de la paix à la région, qui est une paix cruciale pour la région, mais aussi cruciale pour le monde. Pour conclure, je voudrais remercier nos amis américains pour tout le travail qu'ils font d'accompagnement, mais aussi pour que cette région trouve enfin la paix, la sérénité et la sécurité. Merci.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I've taken some notes. I will try to very briefly share some of the thoughts in English. The Ambassador thanked everyone for their condolences and their compassion and solidarity with the people of Morocco. He said that the damages are enormous, gigantic work of reconstruction is waiting, but he's positive on the future together with the help of the King and all of the international solidarity. When it comes to the first 3 years of the Abraham Accords, he agreed that the 3 years that any accord starts will be determining for the future. He gave first a few general remarks about the Jewish community of Morocco and says that they have always been part of Moroccan society. He called it their home. He said the Jewish community was never an external part of the country, but always internal. It was not a minority, it was just part of the people. And he gave examples of the entire country, from the north to the south, where you found Jewish people. They worked for the kingdom, they had their own businesses, they were always allowed. He says that even though there was a very strong migration to Israel after the formation of the Jewish state, he maintained that the bonds were very strong with the Jewish community in Israel and the Jewish community in Morocco, even without diplomatic relations. Like the Israeli ambassador said as well, there's 1 million Moroccans living in Israel, Israeli Moroccans, and Moroccan culture has become part of Israeli society, such as important musical bands. And the ambassador mentioned that on a political level, there was always support for Israel. He mentioned the support of the previous king, Hassan II, for the visit of Anwar Sadat to Israel. And he also made the balance, le bilan, after 3 years of peace with Israel. And he says those have been impressive, impressionnant. 3 years where he says that on so many different levels, they see that it has been amazing. Tourism went from 40,000 to 220,000, and they're expecting 1 million visitors in the coming years from Israel. He mentioned economic, industrial, security, academic, military, agricultural, civil society. Wherever you look, the bonds are growing and becoming stronger. His conclusions were that this is an accord that is not just carried by politicians, but it's also carried by people. And accords that are carried by people are the strongest ones. He is hopeful that the Abraham Accords will also be a lever for friendship and to push peace between Israel and the Palestinians. He says there's no other alternatives for peace between Israelis and Palestinians. And he also thanked the American administration for their continued support and remains hopeful and positive on the growing achievements of this agreement and historic accords. Thank you very much. And this brings me to His Excellency Ambassador Michael Adler from the United States. Please.
Ambassador Kovac, Representative Freilich, Michael, Tomas, thank you for putting this together. But from a personal point of view, thank you very much for your friendship. It has really been a pleasure to be able to get to know the both of you, and I understand the passion to which you bring all of us. It is a pleasure to be joined with my colleagues and counterparts from the United Arab Republic, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Israel, Morocco. These anniversaries of this third important agreement, as you heard, is continuing to grow, and it has unbelievable opportunity for the future. This historic agreement continues to bear fruit by fostering people-to-people ties in the region through commerce, trade, and travel. And of course, that's what diplomacy is all about, creating the conditions to improve people's lives. And that's why we were so saddened and struck by the events in Morocco and Libya. We express our heartfelt condolence to the families and of those affected, and we stand shoulder to shoulder in support of leadership to aid the victims of the tragedy. Our ability to rebuild after crisis is strengthened by dynamic, vibrant economics. And I know from personal experience how important building back is direct personal relationships. In the 3 years since the signing of the Abraham Accords, the growing economic, social, and diplomatic ties among the signatories is a testament to the importance of the agreement. The United States is proud to have been a partner to bring this to fruition. Since the agreements were signed, we continue to see numerous benefits through the region for more robust people-to-people ties. As we've heard, growing tourism, direct flights, collaboration in research and academic exchanges. These initiatives help make the lives of people across these countries more peaceful, prosperous, vibrant, and integrated. The United States has worked to deepen and broaden the Abraham Accords. One example is through the Negev Forum, which was launched in March 2022, and is an unprecedented multilateral forum aimed at bringing the tangible benefits to the region's population. The Negev Forum, January 2023 meeting with representatives from the governments of Bahrain, Egypt, Israel, Morocco, and the United Arab Emirates, was the largest such gathering of Israeli and Arab governments since the officials met in Madrid in the 1990s. Our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, in that Negev Forum, said last year, "We have to be clear that these regional peace agreements are not a substitute for the progress between Palestinians and Israelis. Indeed, normalization should be leveraged to advance progress on the Israeli-Palestinian tract." This is an ongoing conversation that supports our goal of Palestinians and Israelis enjoying equal measures of freedom, security, and prosperity, while creating the conditions for a negotiated two-state solution. The work of diplomacy is never done, and it is important that we take note of our progress to build upon our shared values and goals. The United States looks forward to remaining a partner in support of Israel's integration into the Middle East in pursuit of prosperity and security for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. We will now hold the signing of the celebratory document remembering this important day today, and I will pass the document to the representative of the United Arab Emirates, please. And you can pass it along. So this concludes this part of the celebration. As the ambassador of Morocco needs to go to a next meeting, we will take the pictures for the press at this time by the flags. Can I ask all of the guests to remain seated? We will take the photos and then we will continue with the event. Normally we would say cheese, but I think that it's more suited for all to say peace. We'll have a musical performance by Rachel Rivka. She's the daughter of Guido Joris. Rachel Rivka will perform a rendition of one of the most renowned Hallelujah compositions. While George Friedrich Handel was one of the first composers to create a version, Rachel Rivka will enchant the audience with the exquisite rendition penned by Leonard Cohen. Thank you so much. Guido, I don't want you to go yet. I want you to stand here. I have something for you. Guido had his birthday last week, 72 years young, and Guido, for those that don't know him, has been a longtime friend. He's supported the Belgian Jewish news, Joods Actueel, on the day that it was founded in 2007. I remember I got an email from him saying, you know, his deep passion for the Jewish community. And since then we've become close friends and you know, daily we've worked together. And even before, he supported my grandfather with a Belgian Jewish Weekly. And you know, as a token for all of these years and all of his dedication and effort to help the Jewish people, to help Israel, a friend of the Abraham Accords, I have a silver mezuzah here. For those that don't know, a mezuzah is a Jewish symbol that we place at the corner of our doors of the house, and we hope that will only bring us prosperity, peace, and happiness. So this is a heartfelt thank you so much for all these years. We also have something small for Rachel Rivka for the beautiful rendition. My wife will hand her over a beautiful necklace which has a stone from archaeological digs in the Holy Land of Israel. And this brings us to one final speech. As a guest speaker today, I have the ambassador of Azerbaijan with us, Mr. Vakif Sadikov, and I had the pleasure of visiting his country and his capital, Baku, not so long ago, and seeing the peaceful coexistence, visiting the Jewish community there. And I would like to extend to him to say a couple of words on interreligious freedom and the fact also important that Azerbaijan has held long relations with Israel. Diplomatic relations means that it's an especially important country in the region. Please.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Abraham Accords of 2020 have marked a historical milestone in promoting long overdue peace, cooperation and stability in the Middle East. This event serves as a testament to the progress and achievements attained through this groundbreaking agreement. And I extend my gratitude to distinguished Ambassador Tamas Kovac and Honorable Member of the Belgian Parliament, Mr. Michael Freilich, for inviting me today, as I am humbled to be a part of the discussion and celebrations surrounding this momentous occasion. I would like to echo the distinguished speakers before me who conveyed the heartfelt condolences to the Kingdom of Morocco and to the Ambassador of Morocco who just left this audience, and these words have been also described in the letter of condolence of my President to His Majesty the King of Morocco. First of all, I would like to say that I am proud to represent a nation which does not need to be convinced of a peace and cooperation and stability, because this is in the DNA of Azerbaijanis for centuries, based on the multiculturalism and multi-confessionalism, which have been guiding our nation for hundreds of years. And today this is the important part of the state policy of Azerbaijan. While signatories of the Abraham Accord mark the third anniversary of this diplomatic breakthrough, which has established formal diplomatic relations to advance a culture of peace among the three Abrahamic religions, Azerbaijan, with a predominantly Shia Muslim population of 10 million, enjoys a long and proud history of strategic partnership with the State of Israel, almost for more than 30 years, immediately after the collapse of the Soviet Union. I would like to stress that we're friends with Jews and we're friends with Israel. So our friendship with the Jewish nation has not started in '92. That's the official diplomatic relations with the State of Israel started in '92. But our relations with this nation has a multi-century history. The relations between Israel and Azerbaijan are deeply rooted in a vibrant and rich Jewish heritage in Azerbaijan, and I think that Mr. Freilich had a chance to see it during his visit to my country, which has maintained its own material and spiritual culture, including religion, language, mentality, and self-consciousness throughout decades. Yet the Jewish communities who came forward 130, 150 years ago and onwards in Azerbaijan have contributed so much to the success story of my country in the world. In the 18th century, when Azerbaijan was ruled by independent provinces named Khanats, the rulers of the Guba Khanat, which is a northern part of Azerbaijan, particularly Fatali Khan, invited the Jews to settle in the territories of his Khanat in a period when they were subjected to religious persecution and forced expulsion in Europe and Russia. The high level of representation and engagement of the Jewish community at various layers of society throughout the history of Azerbaijan serves as an example of how multiculturalism can flourish when there is an abundance of culture of tolerance, acceptance, and respect for diversity. During the period of the Azerbaijani Democratic Republic in 1918-1920, which was the first democratic state in the Orient, statesmen of Jewish origin held top government posts in the then government, such as, for example, as Mr. Yevsey Gindas, who served as the first Minister of Healthcare of Azerbaijan in that period. Thanks to this environment, Azerbaijan has raised world-renowned personalities of Jewish origin, such as an example, a nuclear physicist, Mr. Lev Landau, who was awarded a Nobel Prize in 1962 for his pioneering theories for liquid helium. Professor Lotfizadeh, a mathematician, computer science, and a professor emeritus at the University of California, Berkeley, buried in Baku in 2017. World-famous pianist Mrs. Bella Davidovich, who has taught at the Juilliard School in New York since 1982. All of these personalities, and the list can be extended, were born and raised in Azerbaijan. Today, 37,000 strong Jewish community in Azerbaijan enjoys inclusive and encompassing cultural and religious freedom in Azerbaijan, with population of 10.5 million. For comparison, in neighboring Georgia, with a population of 3.7 million, there is 1,500 Jews, according to the Israeli statistics. And in Armenia, with 2.5 million population, about 500. The figures speak for themselves. There are 7 synagogues in Azerbaijan, including 3 in the capital of the country, in Baku, including also one of the biggest synagogues in Europe, built in Baku in 2003. The largest Jewish school, or Avner Shabbat Day School in the former Soviet Union, is located in Baku. And the Jewish community in Azerbaijan freely observes its religious festivals, holidays such as Passover, Rosh Hashanah, and Hanukkah. And I'm also glad that I just incidentally have met today the representative of the Jewish community right now in Belgium, but born in Azerbaijan. Thank you so much for being with us. Azerbaijan stands firmly together with Israel against hatred, genocide, crimes against humanity, racism, and xenophobia by marking every year the Holocaust Memorial Day on the governmental level in Azerbaijan, one of the most heinous crimes of our time. We also fight against the despicable policy of denigrating Holocaust rhetoric used at top government level in some countries here in Europe to further their political interests in their political campaigns, attempting to minimize and belittle the extent of the suffering of the Jewish people. The inauguration of the Embassy of Azerbaijan in Israel in March of this year opened a new page in our bilateral relations. These relations were crowned by the recent official visit of His Excellency the President of the State of Israel to Azerbaijan just several months ago, which paved the way for enhanced cooperation in a wide spectrum of areas, including energy, information technologies, healthcare, agriculture. Azerbaijan has had access to modern Israeli technologies for many years, which helps us to modernize our defense capability, enabling us to protect from our statehood, our values, our national interests, and our territorial integrity. And we're determined to continue like this. We have started exchanges in the area of cybersecurity, which will be helpful to counter and protect ourselves from major threats. And numerous thousands of tourists from our countries enjoy the direct flight from Baku to Tel Aviv, operated by Israeli carrier El Al. Our relations with Israel are also shaped and boosted by active Azerbaijani diaspora in Israel. We have many diaspora organizations all around the world, including also here in Belgium, but only in one country, in Israel, they predominantly consist of people of Jewish origin, and it proves that there is no distinction and division between us. As a country which has suffered a military occupation for almost 30 years, we are grateful to Israel for its steadfast support of sovereignty of Azerbaijan. And it is worth to mention that among the fallen sons in my country, there were brave Azerbaijani soldiers of Jewish origin who became the symbol of resilience and courage of our nation. And we bow our heads to the blessed memory of a tank platoon commander, Mr. Albert Agarunov, who posthumously received the highest military award, the National Hero of Azerbaijan. His statue is erected in the central part of Baku, which perpetuates his enduring legacy of patriotism and dedication to his motherland, Azerbaijan. While the distinguished signatories happily mark the 3rd anniversary of the Abraham Accords, we believe that it will spark a renewed sense of hope and optimism among the people of the Middle East, inspiring other countries to pursue diplomatic engagement and peace agenda in the broader region. I wish to conclude my remarks by reiterating my gratitude to the distinguished hosts of today's event for this opportunity to be part of the celebration of this historic occasion. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, dear friends, this brings us to the conclusion of this beautiful event. We have all been witness to the amazing resilience, to the amazing future that we see coming forward, but witnesses with eyes is one thing. I think in Jewish tradition, some of you might know, it's very important that we have two witnesses who sign a declaration on paper. So I would like to also invite the hosts of this event today, Dr. Ivan Tomaszkiewicz, Ambassador, and His Excellency Ari Epstein, Honorary Consul, to include their signature on this document here that will prove a testament for the future of the Abrahamic Accords.
Dear friends, this has been such a wonderful event that I wouldn't extend it by any unnecessary words. Just to say that I'm very grateful that all of you came. I think this has been a substantive event, a substantive discussion. I think the tradition that Michael initiated and started 3 years ago really is playing off. I think it's important that in the capital of Europe, in this city, we also remark these events, and our diplomatic community and the closer friendships that we have developed continue, because they do add to the momentum of peace by our reports to the capital and by our relationship. I'm very proud that this could happen here at the Embassy of Hungary today. Thank you very much for coming, all of you, part of the audience that you attended, and let me invite you, for those who can stay, of course, for a nice lunch. We have tried to observe all kinds of particularities, of course, of nutrition, but there's going to be some Hungarian food as well, which is supposed to be very light and calorie-free by Dofis. So thank you very much for coming, and please join us for lunch.